Joe Maddon joining us in a moment. Here's the White Sox against some of their rankings. There's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. That's where I need to point that out. So 28th best record at 29th in ERA, as John Heyman just pointed out, but also 24th in hitting. Outs above average, that's defense. They're 20th. They're negative there. Base running, actually middle of the pack. It's where they're strongest, oddly enough. Joe Maddon is with us making his weekly visit. Joe, great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me, buddy. How you doing?
Good. I'm thinking you managed against them very recently when they were, winning 93, and then last year. Give me your read on the White Sox.
Well, they are. They're very talented. I just heard you guys' breakdown of them, and I totally agree with that. The team on the field is very good, very athletic, but the big butt in the room for me was always that I thought fundamentally they just lacked something. I didn't see a real tight way of playing the game. There wasn't an absolute White Sox way of doing things. I thought they had to out-hit their mistakes more than anything. There wasn't a real recognizable way of playing the game. They can hit a little bit like Anderson when he got things going, of course, Abreu in the middle, a variety of other really nice hitters, Moncada, et cetera. But I thought at some point something would happen in the sense that a mistake would be made and all of a sudden you could come back into the game. I liked a lot of their starting pitching. Giolito, a couple of years ago with that new delivery, all of a sudden became in vogue, and then that went away a little bit. There's just not a consistent method or approach to this team, in spite of the fact that, you could make the argument they got great athletes and players, but I did not like the way they actually played the game fundamentally.
Right. It's interesting. Fundamentals leads to an extra base here and there, giving it up or not taking an extra base, which leads to a run. And you say, hey, they lost close. Right. So I know when you're saying fundamentals, that's a tangible thing. I want to ask you. I want to ask you about this, though. Luis Robert was just benched. And we've seen, I was asking Bill Ripken, I did a show with him yesterday. We've seen 3 rather public benchings this month. Is that a lot, or are we just paying more attention to it?
I wrote it down, man. It's almost like one inspires another. I think when you break the seal with something like this, maybe another young manager might jump on board, quite frankly. It happens. So then all of a sudden it became easier to do it to somebody else or in another team or situation. For me, it's about you and what you believe in. I would have spoken about this, and I think a lot have in spring training. There's certain requirements you have regarding the method of play and how you're going to play the game. A lot of it's based on effort, right? It doesn't take a whole lot of skill to be full of effort on a daily basis. So I just think one's led to another, kind of. I also believe that if you're trying to establish culture, you're talking to the entire organization, not just the big league players that are with you, but also the minor leaguers, et cetera, and scouts that are on the road. They're attempting to acquire new White Sox players, whatever. And this is the way we play the game. I think that needs to be established. And quite frankly, I think too many times, and I've spoken about this even in the book, that it has become a copycat situation. You have to establish your own identity. How do the White Sox play? How do the Cubs play? How do the Angels play? How do the Giants play? Establish your own identity, not be so much concerned about how everybody else is doing things. Make sure that you establish what's important to you, and that's from top to bottom.
I don't want to make everything generational, but again, you describe in your book quite a bit of you had a football mentality. If you were told what for from an authority figure, you shut up and you just did it. Is there something different now where now this is a reaction to that where, hey, we kind of let these guys go, they're doing their own thing, but that's unacceptable? Is that kind of a reaction to that?
You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You got to be stern from the beginning. Whatever it is that you believe is important, make sure that it's important every day. And for me, it's one of those things you can't turn your back on anything. Like last week or the week before, we talked about not running hard sometimes don't look. I agree with that. I've said it. But for the most part, whatever you put out there, whatever you say is going to be the policies that we're going to adhere to. It's not just me as the manager, coaches, leaders within the team. And that's really where it becomes very important, because actually the disciplinary component should not get back to me until it's gone through the leaders on the team, the coaches on the team, et cetera. All this stuff should have been covered by this group first before it gets back to my office. And when that occurs, that means I've set it up properly. Because honestly, if I show up at the ballpark every day, I feel like I have nothing to do, then I've set it up right.
Interesting. All right, one last thing. Pirates are 20-9, right? I mean, 20-9 seems kind of real. How sustainable?
I don't think it's that sustainable. I think they're going to do well, though. I like the way Shelty's doing this. I like the fact that they're very athletic and they're taking advantage of their athleticism. Every time I turn on the TV, they're doing something on the bases. I would believe that going into a series, they are very difficult to plot against and plan against. I think they're a headache right now to the other teams that they're playing, and I love that. I think that's working to their advantage. Now, maybe at some point, maybe a month down the road, maybe 2 months, other teams might catch up on certain things they're trying to do. But then again, that's up to Shelty and the Pirates to stay ahead of that, the adjustments that others are making towards them. But the athleticism that they have, the method they have employed, the aggressiveness, I love it. It's sustainable. Absolutely, it is sustainable. I think they're going to come back a little bit, but overall, stay with the game plan, guys. It looks really good.
I mean, this is the wonder of baseball, right? Like Pirates, Orioles, Rays, we've gotten used to. But so those are like kind of the powerhouses early on.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. It's great to see happen in 1 year.
By the way, I've had Shelty. Shelty's been one of my coaches. Brandon Hyde's been my bench coach. And, of course, I started with the Rays. So I'm very familiar with this method of play. And I'm telling you, this works all the time. I'm looking at, you asked me another question for later, possibly the difference between the Braves and the Mets. And the only thing I can see really is being dramatically different is home runs. The Braves hitting more than the Mets regarding run production, et cetera. But the point is this: I love a complete game of baseball. I don't understand why it has to be pigeonholed or you only have to talk about power constantly. Why can't you have it all? Why can't you nurture a good two-strike approach? Why can't you nurture the ball being put in play with the runner on third and less than 2 outs by your number 8 hitter because this guy's not hitting the ball in the stands? I'm a big believer in the liberal arts method of playing baseball, and that is the whole thing, the whole enchilada, man. So that would be my argument to all of this, and that's why I love what the Orioles are doing, love what the Pirates are doing, love what the Rays are doing, and it's very familiar to me. I've been with a lot of these dudes, and I really appreciate how they're going about their business.
Excellent. Joe, always great having you on the show. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, BK. See you, buddy. Thanks. Bye.